Hey, hello guys, how have you been? It's been a while. Now, in this lesson, we're going to learn how to build animated skeleton loader with CSS. And this is such that you can use it in any of your projects, any of your front-end projects, whether you're working with React, you're working with Next, you're working with, let's say Vue, you're working with Nox, you're working with Angular, you're working with Next, you get the point. You can make use of this knowledge and apply it anywhere. Now, as you can see, a skeleton loader actually helps to display a kind of progress when data is being fetched or any other asynchronous task is being performed. It actually improves the user experience of your web application. Now, I've written a post about it. You can. I know some of you will prefer a video tutorial. That's why I'm making this right now. You can check out the post. The link will be in the description below. And also, the codes are in a GitHub repo that I'm going to also put the link in the description below. Now, this particular post was actually a custom request from one of our community, our WhatsApp community to be precise. And if you haven't joined any of our community, the links will also be in the description below. Also, make sure to do that, and you can also make a custom request if there is anything you want to learn or you want me to actually talk about, and I'll make a video on that. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so I'm right here inside of Visual Studio Code, and I've just created some HTML content, and I won't want to bore you, but basically I have inside of my body tag the header tag, and here the main element, and then we'll have a div which contains a div with a class of subheading which with an h2 element, and also our section element with a class of section 1, and then we have these divs here which actually would be for our skeleton, animated skeleton. So let's save this first, and then let's quickly go live and let's see. So I'm going to start my live server. All right, if I should click on, okay, let's say I click on my F12 and I come to my inspect tool. Okay, we're going to see all of our elements here, our header, and then main, and then all the divs. I think, yeah, we should see them right here. All right, so let's get to writing the styles for our code. All right, I think I should have linked the style. Okay, if not, let's quickly do that. Let's link the style sheet. All right, so I'm going to link this in, and then yeah, let's come here. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use the all selector. So padding, I don't want to have any extra padding. Padding is going to be 0, and then I'm going to add a margin of 0. Okay, all right. So the next thing I'm going to do is add a box size in border box. So let's see, that works. All right, you see, it's going to remove the extra padding and margin that it comes with. And also, if you still having a bit of confusion on what's how the padding and the margin got there, I'll still want you to refer to that particular series on the developer tools. There I think I talked about the browser styles or the user agent styles, so that should clear up the confusions. All right, so let's continue. Then I'm going to have body. Let's add a background color. All right, and then let's see, mean height. I'm going to add a minimum height of 100 view height. Okay, and then padding bottom, let's add a bit of padding to the bottom, and then that's going to be 4 rem. And then font, I think I'm going to use a font family of this guy here. Yeah, so I'm going to add a background color of, I'm going to use something blackish or dark, and then a color, I'm going to use a white color right here. So these are just some styling to just make the page look better and our style should come out better. So padding of, let's see, 1 rem and 3 rem, that should work. Let's save and let's see what we have. Okay, think I got this wrong. This should be E. Alright, think that should be a bit lighter. Alright, then I'm going to align the text to the center and then position sticky so that when I'm scrolling it's going to actually stay on top. And then the last is I'm going to add a top so that will take effect, top of 0 pixels. Alright, just in case you're wondering why I hided this, let me remove this and let's save. This is going to actually, in case of when the element does not span through, this main height is going to make sure it takes 100 of the view height. I don't know why it's not applying when I remove that, but anyway, let's continue. That's not the focus of this lesson. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is the section 1, so which is where we have this here, this section here. So I'm going to actually add a bit of styling to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the layout, grid layout. So because we have we're going to have three loaders and I want it to be responsive, so I'm going to say display grid, and then I'm going to add gap of 3 rem, and then I'm going to add padding. Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to add a padding of 1 rem, 2 rem. So 1 rem for top and bottom and 2 rem for left and right. Okay, so let's see. Then the subheading, align the text to center. Okay, and then add the padding 1.5 rem, 0.5 rem, and then 1 rem and 0.5 rem. I think this should work fine. Let's save. Okay, that works fine. Then the font size, let's change the font size a bit to 1.2 and make it a bit bolder. Alright, now onto the main thing that we want to do. So I'm going to have, okay, my skeleton styles right here. Alright, and then let's see, I'm going to come here and then copy this. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to add a width of 100%. Okay, and then we're going to add a display flex, and I want my flex direction to be column. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to add a gap of 20 pixels. Now I promise I'm going to explain all that in a bit if you don't get that. So let's move on to all the divs that we have inside, and then we're going to add a background color. So I want something a bit dark, so I'm going to use RGBA, and I will be able to control the alpha properties, that is the opacity. So something a bit dark and also a bit transparent. So 20, then 20, then 20, and then 0.3. Alright, so let's save that and let's see what we have. Okay, not showing here, not displaying yet. Alright, everything is going to make sense in a second, I promise. So I'm going to say border radius. I want to add a border radius to everything, so 4 pixels. Alright, that works for me. And then let's see, then the banner, and then I'm going to add a padding. Alright, let's add 5 rem and then 0. So let's save that. We should see something. Alright, now this is showing this works. Alright, what about for the remaining part of our loader? So let me just duplicate this. Okay, and then I'm going to just select the header and then the content. Alright, so we can see all of this is showing, but we're going to actually have to edit the padding here a bit. So for the padding here, I'm going to say 15 pixels 0, and then I'm going to add a max width of 70%. So because I don't want it to span all the way through. All right, let's see. Now that works. And then we're going to change this also to 8 pixels 0. Okay, let's see. All right, now awesome. That looks awesome. And then the max width of this, I'm going to change it to 1000 pixels just for good measures. All right, let me quickly explain something before I actually continue. So now the first thing is I'm going to scoot this up a bit. All right, we can see our grid is not applying. It's not applying. We don't want that. We don't want that. So here's the thing. I'm going to actually let's fix that right now. All right, I'm just going to add some media queries to actually save time. I think I'm going to just paste some empty media query sizes. Voila. Okay, let's save that. And then, all right, I actually made use of the breakpoint from CSS. I love that framework. So all right, let's continue. So what we're going to do is so that okay actually makes it into maybe 2 column, and then when we get to the desktop, let's do that. What we're going to do is I'm going to target this section 1, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say grid template columns, and we're going to have auto and auto. So just basically a way of saying we want you to have share that 50%, 50%, so you guys fix yourself in there. All right, so and when we come here we're going to have auto auto auto. All right, so let's save that. All right, so I'm going to bring this up, and then whoa, we can see that works. So let's see, let's try and bring it down a bit, and then all right, so we can see right here in a very small screen we have this and it works. What if we try to adjust the size, and by the time we get to 7, yeah, okay, now we see it works. And then all right, so it's responsive, and which is what I was striving for. And then if we should look at this, all right, inside of our div tag, I'm just going to a particular section. We can see we added a bit of grid there. Selecting on that will highlight it again. If you don't get that, don't forget to check the developer tools series. All right, so we have a bit of flex. This is exactly where I'm going to, and then flex. So let's see, I've highlighted that, and we can see it was our flex box layout that actually added this spacing, the gap we added here. So if I should remove that, we'll see it's going to actually mesh it all up together. So we can see that works. And then if we should remove this, you see it doesn't work quite fine. So this is just a bit of styling. All right, so and without the flex box, the remaining properties don't add and don't look quite as good. But anyway, you can still customize these properties as much. We can see that our skeleton actually works, but we aren't getting the animated ones. So to get the animated ones, let's just do one quick thing. All right, so I'm just going to come here. Let me bring this back. All right, and then I'm going to duplicate this whole part right here. So from here downward, let me just do this to make my life so much easier. So let's see. I'm going to copy this and then duplicate this, and then I'm going to add a class of animated to this, and then this is going to be section 2, and then this is going to be skeleton with animations. All right, so let's save that, and we should have this. All right, but we are not having the styles added, so we're just going to do something right here. So I'm going to do this. Here's something I do very much. All right, so instead of just having okay, I'm not using reject expressions. Instead of having just section 1, I'm going to actually have section 1, and it's going to be replaced with section 1 then command section 2. All right, so let's replace this, and yeah, so let's save and let's see that. So what I basically do was just search, find and replace. So wherever we have just the class of section 1 selected, we're going to have section 1 and 2. So let's come back here and let's see. All right, now that works fine. So we have this. So now if you notice, we've added a class of animated here, so we don't have to rewrite the whole thing from scratch again. So let's actually see how we can style our animated loader. So the first thing I'm going to do is down here, and what's going on, skeleton loading. All right, now I'm just going to copy this and select all custom loader, skeleton loader that also has a class of animated, and then I'm going to select the divs inside of there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually add background. It to actually be what is going to show and what we are going to animate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say linear gradient, and then I want the degree to be 90 degree, and then I want something like RGBA. I want 3 stop points, by the way. So RGBA and then 0, okay, 0, 0, 0.3. So I'm just going to copy that and then paste and then paste. So what I'm going to do is right here, I'm going to make it 70, 70, 70, then 0.24. While at the end here, I still want to go back to what we have here in the beginning. Okay, so we've done that, and then we're going to add a background size. Let's see, 400%, and then 100% should work fine for this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add an animation property. So let's see, animation. So we're going to add skeleton animation, and then we're going to add the timing. We want the timing for the animation 1.4 seconds, and then we want it to ease, and then it should infinite. All right, so just to make things to target other browsers specifically, and then WebKit animation, and then I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to duplicate this, and this is going to be for moles. All right, so we can see that works. All right, let's save that and let's see how it looks in the browser. Okay, compared to this, we can actually see a bit of difference. All right, but let's just play around and let me say this should be, let's see, 100, 100, 100. All right, and whether your eyes is deceiving you or like the way my eyes is, one sure way, fire way to know if an element is style is actually being added is by checking the developer tools. All right, we can see the background is actually adding. All right, it's actually adds. Okay, so now one thing though, we haven't created our animation, which this here. All right, so let's just create our keyframes. So I'm just going to say add keyframes. All right, then this identifier is going to be this skeleton animation here, so just replace it. All right, so what do we want to animate? We want to animate from, all right, 0%. It's going to be background position of 100% and 50%, and then 100% it's going to be background position of 0 and 50%, 0% and 50%. All right, let's save that and let's see what we have. All right, we can see our animation moving. Wow, this is actually nice. All right, so we've come to the end of this lesson, and like I said, I've actually written a post about this, so you can just check it out. The link will be in the description below. So everything has been explained intricately. So that's that on that. Don't forget, if you like this particular video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and see you in the next one.